Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we will be seeing how we can configure DBT with Snowflake connection and GitHub repo connection. And also we will be seeing how we can push DBT models in order to refresh data warehouse objects in the data warehouse. So in our case it will be Snowflake. Okay, so let's open my DBT account first. Okay, and I will be selecting Snowflake here as a first step to establish a connection. So first of all I will be creating a new project. So while creating a new project I need to provide the source connections, environments, repo connections and repo setup. Okay, so to begin with I will be selecting Snowflake as my connection. We have different options like Redshift, Databricks, Apache Spark, Fabrics. Okay, so I will be selecting Snowflake, and then we will see like few settings here. So we can change the name of the connection if required, and then we need to provide the account. So we need to see how we can provide the account details. So for that what we need to do is we need to simply go back to our main page, go to admin, go and select accounts and hover on this account name and copy this name. It's a combination of the organization as well as the account name. Okay, so this value whatever we have copied from here, it may vary based on like which cloud provider we have taken, whether it's AWS, Google Cloud or Azure, and which region. So few things will matter while defining this account full path. Okay, so that's available in the documentation, you can refer that, or let me know if you have any questions while establishing the connectivity. So once I have copied it, I have pasted this here. So database name is my SnowDB, which we have like configured in the Snowflake sessions. Then warehouse, so I need to find out what is my warehouse name. This is my warehouse name. Let's copy and paste it, and then we have username and password. This is my username and this is my password, which I have defined while creating Snowflake account. And then schema, I need to provide a schema. By default it will show up this schema based on the prefixes dbt and my name, like my first name last name. Okay, but I'm planning to change this. Let me just change this to Snow Data Warehouse. Okay, so I'm planning to keep this as my schema. Let's see whether it works or not, and then we need to do a test connection in order to verify if that connection is established or not. So see, it has been established. Click on next. Okay, now we have to configure our, this is done. Now we need to configure our GitHub repository. Click on this, and I already have a Git account, which we can go to the GitHub and then create our own GitHub account and then create a specific repository. Okay, so this is my repository which I have created, and select this repository which is of the name test, and that's it. So our project is now configured. Now let's click on start developing in the IDE. Let's see how the interface looks. Okay, so this is how it looks. So currently it's pointed to the main branch. The naming convention and all, we can change it like going to the GitHub and follow a certain naming convention that we have been using in our projects. Okay, so what I will do, I will try to create a new repo. Okay, let's make it as feature 1. Okay, I'm just putting it like this. Let me see if I can log into the GitHub. So this is my GitHub account and this is my repository that I have created. I have different branches, okay, and see the one which I have created got shown up here in the Git repository, okay. And one more important thing that I want to show, once we create a project, by default DBT will create certain folder structures under the repository, that is analysis, macros, models, seeds, snapshots, and one important file, that is dbt project.yaml, which is very important, okay, in order to drive a process of dbt, okay, but we'll be covering that later. Okay, so that's it. Now the first, now we need to go back to the snow site. Let's go back to the snow site, go to the data, and let's open a worksheet. Okay, so first of all, these are some of the queries that I have created so that we can save some time. I will be creating a schema. If the schema is not present, I don't see that schema. Let me just search. Snow warehouse. Okay, so this one is not created, so when we run the model from the dbt, automatically it will be created, but I will try to create that over here. Create schema snowdb, sorry, snow data warehouse. So this is created, and then we have a table which is customer table. Sorry, this one is pointed to land schema. Okay, it's just like a staging table customer. Let me trigger it. So no active warehouse selected. Let me just change it to a selected warehouse. Let me run this. Okay, we are able to read the data, and then I have created another table which is going to contain two columns. One is customer ID and customer name, because in the first table we have customer ID and other details, but we don't have a customer name. So we have two files now, or two files or two data in landing customer tables, and our plan is to create a query, okay, and which can create another dim customer table or view in the Snowflake data warehouse. So what I did, I created some query which I will copy from here and then go to my dbt project. Okay, so here we have a folder named as model. Just click on that, click on to create a folder, dimensions, click on this, and over here let's create a file named as dim customer.sql. okay, so this is the file name that we are going to define, and this file name will be helpful to create the table name automatically. Okay, let's click on create, click here in the SQL file that we have created. Okay, it's just a simple CTE which is trying to get customer ID, gender, age, profession from the customer table, and then we are using another CTE which is trying to get the data from the customer name table in order to get the customer name details, and ultimately we are performing a join. Let's remove this and save this, and before we run our model, what we need to see is, let's click on preview and see whether we are able to retrieve the data from the warehouse or not. Yes, so we are able to retrieve the data from the Snowflake landing tables or staging table. Okay, so that means we are able to communicate to the Snowflake account. Okay, and now Let's go to our Snowflake account, refresh this, and let's expand Snow DB, that is Snow Data Warehouse Schema. So we don't see any tables or views under this, right? So now let's see from the DBT when we run a model what happens. Okay, so basically, so let's go ahead and run this model. DBT run. So now my model is running. So when we run a model, it will go through all the models that is placed under models, and it will try to implement the change onto the destination. Okay, so here you see, if you want to see the logs, it will give you the details like what has happened. If you want to go in details, it will give you the further down details showing as 3 ran. So this was the demo project that was available, or demo model that was available with the project, and the other one is the one which we have dim customer that we have created. Okay, all 3 has passed, no warning, no error. Okay, so now let's go to the Snowflake and check what has happened. Let's refresh this and see. So now we can see 2 folders. So these are the sample model tables that got created, and then other was is like view. So we got our table created, which is actually a virtual table, that is a view. Okay, so we have options to make it as a materialized table, okay, rather than a view. But let's just try to query this and see whether we have the data popping up or not. Dim customer, run this. Yeah, so now we are able to see that our data warehouse dim customer is populated with the required data sets. Okay, and this has been triggered, and we can perform all the transformations from the DBT side and just run the models that is relevant to it. And also we can break down different uh, objects or the subqueries that is required as a separate entity objects, so that we can use it as a enterprise objects across different models and different consumers. Okay, so that's the benefit of DBT. And also we have other options. Let's suppose if I want to delete this or make the changes to it, we can do it. We can simply, if I rename this file and try to run it, what will happen? It will behave just like in Visual Studio SQL projects we have seen, right? If an object is deleted from source, we have the option to get that deleted from the target. So that's how this also works. It's sort of like model running, and it will do a match and see if that object is present in the destination or not. If not, it will delete. Also we have options to seed certain tables, like adding different static values to certain tables, like we do that in SQL projects, right? So similar sort of thing we can do or achieve from here as well. So that's it. And then let's do one more thing. Let's try to run the model again with a small piece of configuration file. We are just adding it here in this file, but ultimately that should go into the YAML file, which we will see in the coming days. Okay, let's try to do this. I'm not sure if it will work, but yeah, let's try it. I'm just giving a config value and saying that materialized equals to table. Now let's try to run the model. Oh, it has failed. Let me just take DBT run. Let's click on this detail errors. Okay, so let's quickly Google it and check. let's go back to the model and see. Just change this to round brackets and just check. Okay, so let's try this. Yeah, now I think it's running. Let's see. Yeah, it's completed. Now let's go back to our snow site. So earlier it was a virtual table, that is view, and now let's try to refresh and check what's the status of that particular table. See, this is my warehouse, and it has left me with only one object, that is table, and it has automatically deleted the view. So that's how it works. Since we have changed the nature of the table as table, materialized table, automatically it has deleted that view and it has converted that into the table dim customer. Okay, and if we query the same thing, it will give us the same output. Yeah guys, that's it for this session. Okay, and guys, if you have any doubt, let me know, and guys, thanks for your time. Bye bye, see you.